What's up, party people? It's Chris from Profoto, and this is Geared Up. This is our weekly live broadcast where we talk about lighting, gear, techniques, photography stuff, hopefully more geared towards lighting because that's what we do at Profoto. But all in all, just try to have a good time, learn some fun stuff, and take your questions. Today, we're going to be diving into hair light. It's not a super complex lighting scenario. I don't know if scenario is even the right word, but it's not really anything crazy. Hair light is essentially a light for hair. Now, there's some things you got to think about whenever you think about your hair lights, modifier selection, whether or not you're actually doing hair light versus a rim light or something like a kicker. We won't really dive into those as much. We'll save those for another day where we actually kind of put them side by side and talk about what you may or may not prefer. But again, hair light is just a light for your hair. So the upsides for what a hair light is going to do for you. It's just a way of separating your subject from the background. There are scenarios where you may be shooting a lower key image like what we're going to be doing today, where if you don't have something either aimed towards the subject, like a secondary light aimed towards the subject or towards the background to create some sort of a spot of light. Yes?
Good, keep going.
Cool. We can, I lost my train of thought for a second. But what can happen is you can actually, the subject will start to fade into the background, and we want to use that light to help pull them apart. So really, really easy stuff. Now, you can use a couple of different modifiers. One of the things that people like to use for hair lights are snoots. The cool thing about a snoot is that you have the ability to kind of spot the light out the way that you'd like to. Snoots have a really cool thing in which kind of the light they give you is this nice circular light. That's because you don't have a lot of reflections on the inside of the snoot. It's black on the inside. So the light that comes out is circular, pretty straight. It's a little hard. You also have to remember with a snoot that because the inside's non-reflective, it can consume a little bit of light. So you're gonna have to bump the power a little bit. But this is really, really cool for kind of spotting that light out. Downside for like a snoot is the light's a little bit harder. So I guess let's just talk about the overarching downsides of a hair light. It really comes down to hair light is going to show all the hair. So if it's not kind of meticulously taken care of, like if you're going for a look where the hair is smooth and it's super clean, a hair light will point out hairs that are out of place. So you have to go into it knowing that you either need to be really meticulous about paying attention to the hair and getting it in camera, or be okay with a level of post-production. Now, if that's not what you're going for and you like the kind of that shabbier hair look, hair light's gonna really, really show that off. And then when you go with something like a snoot, that harder light's going to make it even more apparent. I would say even with the soft light, what we're going to use today, you're still going to see that stuff. So I sort of think about it. So my favorite type of hair light, and we might have to go to the wide for this, is I really like, I'm about to die. About to die and take the whole set with me.
Take down the host.
Take the whole set with me. So cool. So my favorite type of hair light is actually, I like strip boxes a lot. I also like to use, I know I'm back here in the shadows.
I'm actually going to put you on Cam 5.
That's fine. Hi, Cam 5. How are you doing? Welcome.
Welcome.
But I like strip boxes a lot. I kind of like the light fanning out across the shoulders. It's not quite a rim light because we're not getting the kind of like that rim highlight, but it's kind of doing this nice thing where the light falls onto the shoulders, and it's almost like it's more of an overhead style light. And you can do this. I like to either use a strip box or I like to use a smaller umbrella, like the small size and the medium size. And I'll normally use the translucent, so it's shaped down more like a lantern. But that's what I like. So this is still going to give you, you're still going to see some of the hair. And so the cool thing is we have the way Kate's all styled up. She's wearing all black. So again, you'll see how she'll fade into the background without the hair light. But we kind of have her hair kind of in a kind of a messy updo. So you can see some of those hairs and see how the light affects it and stuff like that. So really cool stuff. So with that being said, let's take some photos.
Shall we?
We shall.
All right.
Let's photo it up. So let's before we get crazy with the actual final look of what this is going to be, I'm going to switch over to the snoot, so we can see what the snoot does first. You know what? This is already set up. I'm not going to switch over to the snoot. Let's do this one first, and then I can show you kind of how the snoot changes this light. So cool. Sweet. I feel like I'm in like this massive thought train leaving the station thing today. So gear-wise, what are we shooting with? What's happening? For the main light, and again, we're shooting this kind of low key, so it's going to be a little moodier, a little darker. I'm sure you can already see the image on the screen up there. So we have an RFI 3x4 softbox with a B10 plus or B10X plus running through it. So it's up higher and aimed down at Kate, and it's probably underexposed by a stop coming out of the softbox. Just, again, that low key look. And then we have an OCF 1x3 strip box on a B10X plus above her head. So that will be kind of the highlight. So we're going to take an image without the hair light. Then we're going to take an image with the hair light so you can see how it helps change the image up. But hair lights are really, really cool. They can help add a little bit more dimension to your subject. Also keep them from fading into the background. Let's just make sure we're good there. Let's turn off group C. So the first shot that we're taking right now is just the softbox. You're going to see what this looks like. You're going to see how she starts to fade into the background. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. So cool. It's a nice, beautiful, soft image. But because she's wearing a ton of black and we're shooting into a darker background, a black V-flat, she starts to kind of disappear into the background. Again, I want it to be a little more underexposed. I wanted that mood to be there. So I shot that intentionally, but I don't want to lose all of her to the background. So you kick on the hair light. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. And the nice thing now is this hair light is kind of raining down over the top of her head. You'll see it pop up here in a second. It kind of rains down over the top of her head, separates her head and her shoulders and her body from the background, which is really nice. So now I have just more going on there. It looks a little more polished. It's a great shot. And then I like doing it with the softbox again because it feels like it drapes over the top of her head. I'm sitting there talking to you and I'm like way off. So it drapes over the top of her head. So it's going over the top of their head, draping over the shoulders. Yeah, getting weird. And it's just a really nice, subtle hair light, something that I really like. So now let's take that same hair light, let's flip it over to a snoot so you can see the differences, and then we'll compare them side by side and we can talk about.
See if there's any questions
Yeah.
Hello, Belgium. Hello. Let's see.
What's up, everybody?
London, Monterey,
London and Belgium in the house. What's up, party?
France. Woo.
What's up, my friends?
France.
France fries.
That says, from Neil, it says, I like to see the small gridded light for short hair and the 1x3 strip box for long hair.
Yeah, I mean,
The comment that.
yeah, no, it's that's yeah for longer hair, especially if you're trying to get a nice highlight down that. Yes, I would almost feel like, and maybe I'm wrong in what you're saying, but more of like, hey, I guess you're right. It depends on how it comes around. I'm sure that you probably have the light more down into more of a kicker mode for like your longer hair with your soft boxes, which of course, yeah, it's really, really great for giving that nice, even, diffused coverage all the way down. Really, really cool
And then Max is asking about your power settings.
So power-wise, on this, when I get over the Connect Pro, I'll let you know what it says. But just so you know, like distance of the light. So this softbox from Kate sitting here, probably 5 to 6 feet. And then the now Snoot, previously 1x3 strip box was probably 4 feet overhead. So we should be about that as well here. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that so with the Snoot, you want to make sure that you aim it. The softbox is a little more forgiving. It lets me kind of put it wherever I want.
Put my body into the.
Yeah, so with the Snoot, you just want to kick on the modeling light and see where the light's falling. Perfect. So cool. Power settings wise, now that I'm looking at my Connect, the main light that we have there, the 3x4, that's at a power level of 6.5. And the Snoot, which I haven't taken, so with the last shot that you see on the screen, that softbox was a power level of 8. Here we go. Oh, and camera settings wise, just so you know too, so you know how to base that off of, f8, ISO 100, and 125th of a second. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Cool. And that's it with the Snoot. Let me double check that and see if I want to give that Snoot a little bit more power. Yeah, I want to give the Snoot just a touch more power. Jump in there, Kate. So again, the Snoot is going to eat a little bit of the power, and that's because, like I said, the interior of it is it's black, so it's more absorbing of the light. I'm going to go up a stop just to see what happens. So power level of 9, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'm happier with that. Cool. Thank you, Kate.
You're so welcome.
So actually, jump in there one more time. Now that I think about this, I want to, and I'm going to switch back out for the softbox. I'm going to turn these off completely, and I'm going to take just hair light shots, just so we have something to compare with. So let's turn the main off. Cool. Here we go.
Oh, sorry.
How dare you not be ready?
Model, get yourself together.
3, 2, 1. So that's Snoot only. Let's throw on the 1x3. Just hang there for a split second.
I'm looking at the comments as if I could read them from right here.
Yeah. She needs binoculars.
Really nice binoculars.
Get some Coke bottle glasses or something. I probably need those. Let's see.
But if you have any
if you have any questions, let me know.
Pop them in.
Also, I said that this was a B10X Plus on the back. It's not. It's a B10. After I took the softbox off, I realized it was the smaller one. So cool. And I'm going to bring that power back down to where it was. That was a power level of 8. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Very cool. Awesome. Now you're good to go, Kate.
Okay.
Let's.
Well, softbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did it.
Softbox. That's how fast it was. So quick. Cool. Let's get the laptop out here. So again, when we were looking at the shot up here, let's go to full screen. Let's get OneDrive out of the way. So you can see that before we turn on the hair light, like the Big Soft modifier is giving this nice, beautiful cast. Low key, it's exactly what I'm going for with the shot. But I mean, you lose everything else in the shot that isn't her skin tone. The outfit is starting to fade, and because of that, you're not seeing any like shape in the shoulders or the body or anything like that. The hair light is going to give you all of that stuff back, right? So you have this really nice lines, this really even tone. This is another reason that I like to use the soft boxes a little bit more than I like to use the Snoots. But again, it's personal preference. And then here's what we were talking about earlier. So you can see that a hair light is going to start to show all the kind of flyaways and stuff like that. So if that's a look you're going for, perfect. Hair light's going to exacerbate all that stuff. If that's not a look you're going for, again, you're going to have to really be meticulous about paying attention to it on set, or understand that you're going to have to fix that stuff in post-production. So maybe, yes.
Oh, sorry. Just jumping in. Can I give you a couple questions?
Sure,
there?
some questions?
See. Let's see. Is there any recommendation for ratios between two lights, or is it personal preference?
Well, I mean, for usually with a hair light, they say you want it to be like a stop less than your main light. Those are the rules. But I'm kind of one of those people that like, okay, cool. Now I know the rule. I'm going to break it a little bit. And so for me in this shot, my hair light is clearly more powerful than my main light. It is, I mean, I guess technically at that point, the hair light becomes my main light. But for the look and feel of my shot, I broke the rule for me. So as long as you understand kind of like why they want why they kind of put those rules in place. And essentially just it's so your attention's not drawn straight to the hair. The brightest part in an image is usually where your eyes go to. So if you are way overpowering your hair light, you know, someone's attention might go to the eyes or to the hair when, you know, you wanted their attention to go to maybe the lip color or something like that. So that's why that's in place. But then after that, you can make creative choices to, you know, make the image that you want to make. So
okay, and then we have one more here. We got Neil must have asked A2. Would an A2 be suitable for a hair light?
Sure.
A 1x3 softbox.
So someone was asking, would an A2 and a 1x3 softbox be a good hair light? Absolutely. So for me, I have one, it's going to be settings predicated. A lot of times you're going to hear me shooting in the studio with, you know, my f8 1/25th of a second. And that's mostly because I'm trying to keep my video lights for the live out of the image. I don't want it to change the characteristics of the image. Yeah, so I mean, like there's lights here and there's 2 lights there. So if I start to shoot too wide open, all that's going to come into the scene and I have to turn the lights off, and I don't always want to do that. So one, the A2 wouldn't have a problem with this anyway, because again, we're with the 1x3 strip box, we're a power level of 8. The A2 would be roughly 8.7, probably 9-ish at this. So you'd still have probably a whole other stop of light to go up with the A2. So the A2 will do it just fine. And then you can always change your camera settings down. You can make your ISO a little more sensitive. And yeah, A2 would be great.
Cool. That's our comment.
Cool.
You can see here.
So now real fast, let's show the difference between a harder hair light and a softer hair light. So right here, this is the 1x3 strip box. This is the Snoot. Now you can see the shadow here on the hand, first and foremost, being cast down by the hair right here, and that's because the light source is a lot smaller. So you're going to actually start to introduce some of those shadows. Whereas like right here on the shoulder, this is much more even diffused across the hand, where here the hand has much more of an apparent hot spot. You can also see in the fabric here, like on the shoulder, look how much more detail is there, right? As opposed to the softer light. So yes, there's still some detail there, but you can just looking visually here, there's way more texture from kind of that fabric right there with that harder light source. So if you want to show off some more of that texture, maybe that's another thing you need to be thinking about when you're choosing your hair light. So, but then you can see also how much the hair is still showing just here with the Snoot. But again, more of a hot spot with the Snoot, because you're still getting the direct light straight out of the strobe, and it's not diffused whatsoever. And then so you can see them without the main. So you can see here's that Snoot again, and here is the 1x3. Look here at the hand now that you don't have that extra light coming in from the 3x4. You can see kind of those sharp shadows, more of that texture again that we were talking about here, where it's a lot smoother with the 1x3. The light falling off with that the double diffusion of the 1x3 is going to give us a lot more even coverage side to side, whereas the Snoot's definitely going to start pointing out there's going to be a little more shadows brought into the shot. So, but again, that's a hair light. It's again, at the end of the day, it's a light for the hair. It's used to help separate your subject from the background. Again, the downfalls are if you are looking for a very clean shot as far as the hair goes, you need to pay attention to that on set, or you need to shoot with the intention of fixing it in post. Probably a little bit easier to do stuff like that in the studio, at least for me on location. Sometimes whenever and maybe it's just the sign of me not being the best retoucher in the world. I like to try to pay attention to that stuff on location because, yeah.
Can I actually give you a question that kind of falls with that?
Sure.
Currently, you have a black background and quite hard hair light.
Mm-hmm.
How can you create sunny feeling in studio setting that looks natural? So
we actually have a live over that. If you go to profoto.com, or I think it might even be on YouTube as well. I think we were broadcasting YouTube, but I believe we have a whole live over how to create like a sunset inside. It's really, really cool. So go check that out. But it's the polar opposite of how this is set up. So it's.
Can we pop a link in the?
I don't have the link that I can pop up there, but if Is that a Facebook comment or is that a YouTube
It's a
comment?
Facebook.
Okay, so since that's a Facebook comment, I'll just go to the video on Facebook and I'll find the video and I'll link it back here to the video. So just come back, or I can reply to you directly. So I'll reply to you in Facebook after this live's over, and I'll send that over to you. Anything else?
That's it.
Cool. So this was super fun. Again, hair light, super easy. A really cool thing that you now know, if you didn't before, of how to use your hair light to enhance your images. So with that being said, I hope you have an awesome rest of your week. I'll see you next week. Peace out, everybody.